Well, hello there. Ladies and gentlemen, last night was quite something, wasn't it? At the State of the Union address on all the people that weren't there, for instance, which is ironic, to say the least. Man, last night I would have to say that President Trump pretty much laid it all out, put people on notice, which in a way could probably lead to some serious, accountability to come, which as a American, I surely would hope that that is going to be happening. I think that it will. I think there's enough proof to show what has been going on for a very, very long time. People that are involved. I think it's definitely going to happen. It has a very high plausibility percentage, should I say. Can I foresee the future? No. But in a world that you just kind of look back and you're like, well, I hope things really, do get taken care of. People get held accountable. I think that last night's State of the Union was, one, most certainly an address to the American people about what has happened, what has happened in the last year, his first year of a second term, laying out the pieces. If I had to guess, I would say he probably wanted to say more than he said. But hey, it's a start, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into some things here. But first, here's a supercut of Democrats losing their freaking minds.
Just in a few hours, Donald Trump is going to go to the US Congress and talk about State of the Union. He will tell a whole bunch of lies because he has failed to take care of the prices. Prices have continuously go up, making it harder for average American. Life is tough. Rents are going up. Grocery prices are going up. Trump will tell you all is well. Don't believe him.
I am LaMonica McIver. You may not know my name, but you may have heard my story. I am the Congresswoman that Donald Trump is trying to put in prison for 17 years. Trump's Department of Justice is going after me, trying to silence me, and scare other people out of standing for what's right. All because I was doing my job.
And yes, our trans kids across this country who are sick and tired of being bullied because it's not trans kids driving up your rent. It is the billionaires doing that. We are standing up for our trans kids across the country.
Congresswoman, why should the American people trust congressional Democrats to take over Congress when party leaders like yourself are rebuttaling President Trump's State of the Union address, promoting dangerous open border policies? You really think the American people will trust congressional Democrats, like I said, when party leaders like yourself are promoting dangerous open border policies? Would you like to answer, Congresswoman?
So we see Governor Newsom. He's got a book, I think, which actually publishes today. He's in the middle of the fray of possible Democratic contenders. So what do the polls say?
Yeah, they're all running, and this is just a downright clown car at this point on the Democratic side. I mean, just take a look here. Top choices for the 2028 Dem-Pres nominee. You have a leader, but it's not really a clear leader. It's within the margin of error. You have Newsom at 19%. Then you have former Vice President Kamala Harris at 18%. Quite a weak number for her, given that, of course, she was the nominee last time around. Pete Buttigieg, who, of course, has run before, 13%. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at 12%. This is just a total clown car. It is a total mess. There is no clear front runner at this particular point on the Democratic side. Who the heck knows who the nominee is going to be in 2 years?
It's been a long time since we've had a Democratic race like this.
Yeah, it has been a long time. This is very unusual for the Democratic side to not have a clear front runner at this point. National early poll leader at least 25%. Look at this. This year, we get the giant question mark. No one. In 2020, when there was no incumbent, It was Joe Biden who was there, Hillary Clinton in both 08 and 16, and Al Gore in both 2000 and 2004 at this point. We're at least at 25% of the early polls. You have to go all the way back from when I wasn't even in elementary school yet, not even in pre-K yet, to 1992. That was the last cycle in which there was no clear front runner at this point. Very unusual.
Some foreign policy, after drifting and all the rest, some foreign policy. Did he spend a sentence and a half on Ukraine, where democracy is at stake, where American people want us to be there on the side of democracy?
And it's the 4-year anniversary of the invasion today.
Today is the 4-year anniversary. You think he would have risen to the occasion?
Already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before.
I was there, and it was as horrific as I thought it would be.
Did you leave early?
Absolutely.
It was like an award show. You get a medal. You get a medal. You get a medal.
That's literally, Mo just said, you get a car, you get a car. Y'all are on the same page.
I'm fresh out of an ICE prison in Minneapolis. I've been arrested 3 times by ICE over absurdity, over us being ourselves, over me singing songs like, "Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan white. There ain't no place I'm going to." And then all of a sudden, he's not ready for primetime player ICE agents with 2 weeks of training come after me. I got arrested in Portland. I got arrested in Minneapolis in the last 3 weeks twice. But they can't erase a movement, all right? What I went through is 1/1000th of a lot of marginalized people and what they have to go through in those ICE detention centers. And I want to tell you something right now. There's an announcement. Pumpkin Spice Satan is making his way to the State of the Union. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to rev up the show right now. We're giving out prizes. We're going to have bingo. We're going to storm the White House with love and compassion.
There was one moment, Madam Speaker, where he called you out specifically around, of course, congressional stock trading. What do you say back to him?
I say back to him, as that's what members said, look at your own self. The inference he wants to draw is there was something wrong with that, which there wasn't. And if there was, people get prosecuted for it. For a long time now, we've been trying to pass this law. It doesn't have, now it has more support than it had before. And
Elizabeth Warren stood up and applauded. Elizabeth Warren stood and applauded tonight when the president talked about it.
Well, we all did. I did too. He said, "Did Nancy stand up?" Yeah, I did too. A lot of people stood up. A lot of Democrats stood up. I think that will pass, depending on what the bill is. I mean, what we had, we thought we could pass. It was actually a tougher bill than Governor Spanberger had put forth. We thought it could pass, but it was clear that it wasn't going to make it to the House and the Senate. But in any event, he gives his shout out. I don't pay any attention to him. What I'm concerned about is our democracy, which he is destroying.
So let's go over number one. The guy that can barely speak English, how he wound up in office. I'd have to say, I don't know, let's just say hypothetically, maybe there is cheating. Maybe. Yeah. The guy said that prices are up because of Trump. Well, prices were up before Trump ever took office. Prices were up before any of that. I just don't understand. Oh, wait, that's right. It's projection. Project what they did on others. Make it their fault when it's actually their fault. Because we all know, and if you don't, then maybe you've been living under a rock, but the prices of housing, utilities, food, so forth and so on, has been up for a very long time. And one of the reasons that food, particularly like meat and beef and whatnot, is up because the 4 major processing plants for beef is owned by just a few handful of companies. Look it up. Me personally, when I buy beef, I don't buy it from the store. I go and I find myself a farmer that raises cattle, and I know where the cattle comes from. I know what the cattle is fed, and you doggone right, I'm going to buy me a whole beef. I love steak. So, it works out well for us. So don't let them lie to you, because of the simple fact that prices were up before Trump ever took office, and because of Trump taking office, prices have most certainly came down. I mean, remember how expensive eggs were? They're coming down. And there's something else. Most of the time I buy them, if I can, from a farmer that raises, farm-raised eggs. They're delicious. They're better than store-bought. You just don't really know what you get with store-bought. Number 2, LaMonica, whatever her last name is, 17 years allegedly, 17, interesting number. But her problem is that she allegedly assaulted law enforcement. She's one of them people. So there again, projection. And then you got the third clip would be trans kids. Well, the problem with trans kids is that there's only 2 genders. It's male and female. Sorry to tell you. I mean, Trump literally had a girl in there that schools tried to change her gender without her parents knowing. Dude, I would lose my shit if that happened. Holy crap. Thank God my son, he's grown, 20 years old, didn't have to necessarily deal with this. He might have actually dealt with a little bit of this, in his last years of high school. I'm not necessarily sure. But, we lived in a small town, so maybe it was a little bit, better than being in a big town. Ladies and gentlemen, trans kids situations and gender reaffirming surgeries and so forth and so on, that is so freaking wrong. What is wrong with you people if you think that is a correct thing? You're stupid. Then clip number 4, Ilhan Omar. I would say probably more than likely that might have to do with some voter situations there. I mean, how in the world did she ever wind up in office along with many, many other people? What happened last night, ladies and gentlemen, that is, I don't know, how do they say it? A nail in a coffin kind of situation. Last night was snapshots and sound bites, and there are many of them. Many of them. Imagine what it's going to be like as we get closer to the midterms. Holy crap. The snapshots and sound bites from the State of the Union address, oh my goodness. You will see them, and they will be relived over and over and over and over. And if you are sucker enough to vote for these people to put them back in office, well, then you're an idiot. And that brings us to, off another tip, the SAVE Act. That whole situation where it's required to have ID to vote is very serious. How do you get fraud in voting? By not having to show your ID or mail in ballots. Just look at Abigail Spanberger. Holy crap. Sorry, Virginia, how much you guys got suckered. I mean, it's like she's Mike Tyson and she punched you right in the face. I mean, you guys can't even have gas blowers. How stupid is that? And then you have Madami, in New York, where, you got to show 2 forms of ID in order to shovel snow for $30 an hour. Okay. Wow. Stupid. And then you have clip number 5 there. CNN kind of having a freak out situation because the simple fact that they have no clear cut who's going to run for anything, because there isn't any clear cut. And then he wants to draw a line under Kamala Harris and say that she was the nominee. No, she was not the nominee. She was inserted. Start telling the truth, people. I mean, good grief. Oh boy. Inserted. She did not win the nomination at all. Let's clear that up. Number 6, Nancy, talking about Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, I am an American. America is what I concentrate when it comes to the security of our country. I'm sorry that Ukraine happened, but one thing is for certain, and it has been said by many people, even on the left, when it comes to news channels, that if Trump won, which, we all know how that really actually went, which I'm pretty sure you're going to hear a lot about that coming up in the several weeks, months leading up to the, midterms and so forth and so on. That war would have never started. And they have forked over billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to that situation. And my question would be is how much of that money came back to the Democratic Party? Just saying. Then we got number 7, when he was talking about tariffs and the Supreme Court. I counted only 4 Supreme Court justices. Where were the others? And why were they not there? Why was it just those 4? And 2 out of the 4, when Trump was talking about tariffs, the camera panned to 2 of them, which would be Roberts and Amy, whatever her last name is. I can't think of what it is right now. But it's interesting. He called him out just like he called out a whole bunch of other people. Number 8 clip. Angel moms. First off, I am so sorry that, if they see this, which who knows, maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry that those situations happen to you. But the ladies that were making fun of the situation on the awards that were given, good grief, they were cackling like they were Kamala Harris, which is really odd. Then you got number 9. So that was the State of the People. I don't even know who that dude was that was dressed up in a giraffe that, from my observation, was wearing panties on the outside of the giraffe outfit, costume, whatever you want to call it. Very, very freaking weird. I mean, weird. I mean, good grief. The guy that they wanted to call the QAnon shaman or whatever, he wound up getting arrested for being in the Capitol. But this lunatic, he was arrested 3 times by ICE. And, good grief. What a lunatic. They're all lunatics. They think that this is correct and right, which it is far from that. And then we got clip number 10. Nancy again, talking about stocks. I wish that a camera, I have not seen it at all. She says she stood for what Trump said. Elizabeth Warren did. Certain other Democrats did about, passing the act where people cannot insider trade. Because it's amazing. You make $173,000 a year in Congress. And Nancy Pelosi is worth, what, $450 million? Woo. I wish I could have a portfolio like that beats Warren Buffett. I mean, good grief. How fantastic that must be. Insider trading? Surely not. Number 11.
When it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance. He'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Everybody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh?
Trump laying it out. Talked about Minnesota fraud. Believe me, there's fraud everywhere. And J.D. Vance and his crew is going to wind up getting to the bottom of it. If the amount of money, maybe that is the reason that we have not been able to have a balanced budget in the United States government in freaking forever. Newt Gingrich was the last person that got a freaking balanced budget. How in the world does that happen? Oh, well, maybe it's because of fraud. Just saying. And then, Trump said, stand if you believe that, you're supposed to represent Americans and not illegal aliens. And the Democrats sat on their hands. Not all, almost all. I would say 99.9% of them sat, did not get up. Idiots. Who would have thought that John Fetterman would be the one that has a voice of reason? Holy crap. But hey, props to him, man. I would love to interview him, to be quite honest with you. Trump pretty much called him out. Crazy people. Fraud money, balance the budget. I mean, who knows? Maybe that is. And during that whole exchange, Ilhan Omar freaked out. Started hooting and hollering and all that crap. I mean to tell you what. It's just a real shit show, and I really hope that situations will be rectified. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to support the channel, please check out my links. Noble Gold, save $100. Their food supply that lasts for 25 years could save your life. I mean, seriously, if the world falls apart and you can't get food or food spoils, My Patriot Supply is most certainly who you would want to have in your corner. I can tell you that. And if you really want a good night's sleep, check out My Pillow. Fantastic. And if you want some good, supplements, check out Boomer Products. Ladies and gentlemen, these people have stuck by my side through thick and thin as I had to deal with what I had to deal with when it comes to this channel for 5 years. When the Biden administration caught wind that I was actually having serious traction, is probably when I had 7.7 million hours watched in a 28-day period back in 2020. I cannot wait until I can talk about that situation. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, share, all that happy stuff. It helps out dramatically. If you want to help out other ways, There's all kinds of ways that you can, click on the video super chat, sorry, not super chat, super thanks and so forth and so on. Guys, it helps so incredibly much as I am going through the rebuild phase of bringing an algorithm that hid a channel for 5 years back to life. It is a freaking nightmare to do that, but the more you guys visit this channel, the more you watch my videos, the more you like them, the more you comment on them, the more you share, the more it helps the algorithm do what it's supposed to do and bring back my historical data that has to do with this channel. God bless each and every one of you, and I cannot thank you enough for being here.
Food supplies have been completely wiped out. We have a evacuation of all counties. I report complete devastation. We have a giant squall, cloud, just gobbling up everything in their path. This is a total loss of life.
There are forces in this world that remind us of how fragile we are. We thought we were safe. We thought it could never happen to us. Then life like a fog descends upon us, blanketing our memories. Through the haze, we travel its hidden paths, lost in its secret places. And when the storm, turbulent and immovable, forces us to shelter, we remember. It calls to us, calls us back. Back to the ports and the harbors of our past. We fight the currents that pull and drag us off course, not a light or star to chart the way. And when we arrive, we don't always know it at first, the places we once loved guised by time. Then we see it, the place we've been trying to get back to. Safe at last, we've found our way home.